Greetings to all, and I appreciate you viewing our channel. We talk about manhwa and manga on this channel. My name is Aanya. The magnificent finale opens the tale. A very dedicated baker who has created a significant sculpture of a hen with sweets is going to present it to the judges. He dreams of creating a world of sweets and spreading smiles to people's faces. His magnificent sculpture will surely be the first one and will be considered the world's best sweet sculpture. However, his dreams are shattered into pieces when the sculpture splits into pieces with the simple fault of imbalance, and the audience becomes gullible to his failure. The Patisserie World Tournament is a renowned culinary competition that draws the best chefs in the world to showcase their baking and pastry-making skills. In the last round, he also takes a blow to the head and begins to bleed profusely. He is crying and counting down the seconds till he dies, believing that God is being unjust to have allowed him to die when he is so close to victory. Suddenly, a voice speaks out, encouraging him to continue practicing his desert art. Additionally, Ophelia congratulates him on his rebirth under the name Pastry in a new universe. When Mortal opens his eyes as a newborn in The Thief of Mortal, he is the adored son of Suzanne, the Lord of the Thief, and he is in charge of the town's safety and security because the land is entirely under his control. For years, the area was barren and nothing edible could grow there. After a few years of hard work, Mill's father planted wheat and barley on the land. With time and effort, they grew surplus fields that were spread across 3 villages. Now that years have gone, the father is instructing his son. He is learning the art of fighting from his father, but he is so preoccupied that he doesn't seem to want to practice. Eventually, he says, "My thief is hard for growing sugar and it can't be taken here." Because of his preoccupation with sweets, he loses the fight, his sword slips from his hand, and he is panting and sweating profusely. Fortunately, he escapes when the head retainer Fuel arrives with both good and bad news. Lord Father asks him to go with the good news first, he explains. The pastry mill amuses them with his amazing knowledge of fields and crops, but he can't reveal that he was a chef in his previous life, so he just claims to be a good daydreamer. They appreciate their son's efforts and intelligence in imagining the best for their crops, so now's the time for bad news. He explains that some dacoits have turned to their thief after learning that their bean crop is going to break records this year. The county refuses to expel them. They are essentially 50 surviving bandits who are making their way towards their fields, where they will destroy the wheat and beans that they have laboriously grown. They are also challenging to deal with because their thief can only carry 30 men. They are not even prepared for a protracted conflict because they lack amenities or weapons. If anything happens to their people or their fields, they will undoubtedly perish. The only small comfort is that they will arrive at their location in at least 2 months. The father requests that he seek assistance from the Count retests, but he is uncertain if he will receive the reinforcements while he is hearing this story. Talking Fuel spots the pastry and encourages Mill to save his fee from the bandits so he can realize his ambition of building a land of sweets. Miller considers utilizing him as the trump card because of his furrowed brow and his childlike desire to saving the country. As a result, he advises holding a gambling show with the robbers. Father of the Lord concurs with the instinctual knowledge of Fuel and prepares the pastry mill for the sanctification ceremony. He proposes his thoughts to his mother and convinces her of the preparations. His mother is worried about his 9-year child because this ceremony is appropriate for about 13 to 15 years children as the prerequisites of the sanctification ceremony. They take him to the girls' room. Pastry Mill enters his sister's room, where he has to prepare. They did their makeup and dressed him up like a doll. They had also done it before when he was. The day of leaving town for the sanctification ceremony has come, and Pastry Mill is tripping and feeling exhausted because they have spent 3 busy days in its preparations. He is in an opulent purple pair of shoes that his sister presents to his beloved brother because he wants the best for him but doesn't need to wear girly suits. Instead, he is feeling much weirder now. Outfit that exudes style. Friends of Pastry Mills commend his mother, wishes luck for him based on his elegant attire. It is painful for her young child to engage in such a demanding activity, but she must let him go because his father only has the best interests of his son in mind. As a result, Lord Father begins by reciting scriptures and closes his eyes by holding his son's hand. A large swirling, their bodies are raised into the air by air storm, covering them in a circle pattern, and they remain suspended in the air, producing a captivating scene of grandeur for the spectators. The spectators' eyes are dazzled by the brilliant light, and in an instant, they vanish from view. When they emerge, they find themselves in the city of Bulvidia, where a pastry mill is in a market with a wide variety of fruits and sweet products that he finds hard to describe in words due to their ravishing heart. The glitz of the market is mesmerizing to witness, as Lord Father's magic has transported them to the location nearest to the heavens, something Pastry Mill has never seen before. After reincarnation, he wants to purchase the goods, and his father has promised to do so if the ceremony goes well. Meanwhile, the Lord Father is busy appreciating his son's special abilities and wisdom, seeing him as a future Suzanne, Lord of the Thief with a strong sense of intuition. Pastry Mill notices the sour apples, a luxury even in this market. His father is just admiring his son's interest and determination in the exploration of new things. He comes up with the idea of creating several delicious products with it by blending it differently. Army and a prosperous land, however, Pastry Mills is thinking of creating a world full of sweets. As a result, they arrive at the hall, where a plump man greets them and expresses gratitude to the Lord for protecting them during the hard frosty times. At this point, the Lord presents his son for the true sanctification ceremony, but Pastry Mill's sister is concerned for her brother because she was unable to complete the ceremony due to a lack of magical power. Ideal for his sibling according to Fuel, part of the event involves measuring a person's magical abilities. To do this, the child must consume a bitter soup, after which they must spend many hours in complete darkness with their eyes and ears closed. The mill is tied to a chair and the bitter soup has been taken, but he is already an urge to perform the work. He spends a day and night without making a sound. The Lord's Father worries for his son. The more time that passes in the dark, the more optimistic findings are established as he waits for his son to pass the exam. Pastry Mill is thinking about his dream. He imagines himself baking pastries, candies, and cakes. Eventually, he is able to create a world of sweets and experiences magic for the first time. One day, while daydreaming, he notices a sharp bright light. Suddenly, he is brought back to reality by his father's voice, who reveals that he has spent 2 days in the room and that his magic power going to occur. The passage that serves as this ceremony's benchmark is opened by the priest. When the scripture begins, Mill must recall its meaning. If he possesses pure magic, he will do it instantly. Mill kneels in obedience to these holy words. He embarks on the words of the scripture so profoundly that they start jingling in front of him. He enters an illusionary world, and the words prove to be the magic itself. They pose a glimpse of bright flashing light and bestowed upon him in the illusionary world pastry. They are delightful for this young boy who has made a remarkable achievement at such a young age. Mill attempts to realize his inner instincts. He determines his talents and magical powers, which are bizarre and unclear. Consequently, several thousand sparkling stars move towards his heart and he opens up to reality. He seems to have achieved the level of magic at this young age. He has acquired a unique and mysterious magical power even his father doesn't know about. The market. Before leaving, they offer a generous charity for the church. In return, they get the sweet, wishful words of the priest. The time has come for the fulfillment of his father's promise. Pastry Mill is busy measuring the worthy fruits to buy. He is showing great enthusiasm while selecting the best apples to buy, although he has to choose already between the lustrous and more giant apples. The shopkeeper presents some of the best apples as a reward, to see the love of Pastry Mill for the fruits. In contrast, the priest wonders concerning the coinage of the Lord Father and finds them to be somewhat annoying. He also smirks at keeping the magical power of Pastry Milk a secret and is unwilling to give them any favors. Pastry Mill is busy eating the best apples with his father because he can't believe he got the best fruit on this visit. They take 2 of the best lustrous apples, and Pastry Mill suggests keeping the secret. He suggests that his father avoids telling his mother and sister they ate. His haughty face and devious smile warn of something suspicious. The best of them. Pastry Mill is dreaming of using these mouth-watering fruits to make tarts and candy apples, and one day, his wish will come true. Enjoy this film, and let me know in the comments if you want part 2. We would appreciate it if you could give it a like and subscribe to our channel so we can continue to provide you with interesting content. Watch this space for upcoming videos.